Hey guys, welcome to today's video, and in today's video we'll be covering how to create a simple mop and cleaning system. So you head to your stain and you click on your line trace key, and then the stain slowly disappears like this. Let's get into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you have all of your assets imported. So for this specific project you'll need a static mesh of a mop as well as a texture of a stain. So the first thing you're going to want to do is right click on the texture and click on create material. We can call this m_stain. So double click to open that. Next, in the details panel at the left, you want to set the blend mode to masked. Then this A value over here, you want to plug that into opacity mask to make it sort of have an invisible background. So save and close. The next thing we want to do is right click inside the content browser, click on blueprint class and click on actor. We want to call this BP stain. So we can double click to open that. So let's add a cube. And then in the transform for the Z value, we can make this very small, so 0.001. So it's almost flat like this. Then we can set the material to the stain material we just created. As you can see, it looks like this. Then as you have your cube selected, let's add a box collision. And we can reduce the size. Maybe keep this at 100. And we can also make this a little bigger from the sides as well. And then in the details panel, we want to look for collision. We want to set the collision to block all dynamic. So compile and save. We can actually place this in the world now and see how it looks. So as you see, we've got this over here. Next, what you want to do is go to your content browser and look for your BP first person character blueprint and double click to open. And when you've clicked on the capsule component, make sure it's not under first person camera but capsule component. Let's add a static mesh. We can call this mop. And then select your mop static mesh. So for this particular one, the correct size is 0.05, I believe. No, it needs to be a little smaller than that. Well, not little. So 0.005. Then as we can see, this is the correct size that we want it to. So let's rotate it 90 degrees. And let's move it to an appropriate location. So this might take some time. And then we can just enter the world to check. So this just needs to be, I'm actually quite happy with this. I'll just move it a little bit up. The next thing you want to do is go to your BP stain, and then in the details panel, make sure firstly in the components you're clicked on the topmost component. In the details panel, you want to look for a tag. Then you want to set this tag to something called stain or something along those lines. Then you want to go to your BP first person character and you want to go to the event graph. And in the event graph, you're going to look for your line trace logic. If you guys don't have it, there will be a link in the description with the basic line trace. So out of the last branch of your line trace, let's get another branch. And the condition is going to be actor has tag. The tag is going to be whatever we just said over here, so stain. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it. And the target is I'm going to drag out and I'm going to go to this break hit result over here and I'm going to plug it into hit actor. So out of true, we're going to call it do once, and we'll also call out of completed a cast to BP stain. Then the object, again, we're going to go up to the break hit result and plug this into hit actor. So let's compile and save. Next, inside the BP stain, let's create a custom event by right clicking and looking for add custom event. And let's just call this end. From end, let's get a reference to cube. So let's drag the cube and set relative scale 3D. And then we want to split the pin structure, and then the Z value is going to be the default value, so 0.001 if you're using my values. So we can actually test this out now. So out of as BP stain, let's call the end function. And we should test this. So when we come here and we click, as you see, the stain has disappeared. But that's a little too quick, and that's not exactly what we're going for. So to make this a little smoother, we're going to add a timeline. Add timeline. Then double click to open the timeline, and let's set the length to something a little longer, so maybe 2.5 seconds. Let's click on the track and add float track. So now anywhere inside this gray area, add key, then set the time to 0 and the value to 0. And then you want to add another key, and you want to set the time to the length of the track. So since the length is 2.5, you want to set the length to 2.5, the value to be 1. So let's compile and save. Go back to the event graph. And then we also want to look for a lerp. So just right click and look for lerp anywhere, lerp float specifically. Then you want to set the new track 0. You want to drag that into alpha. And then A is going to be 1 and B is going to be 0. You want to plug this into X and Y scale values. Then you want to plug update into set relative scale, and you want to plug the play into end. Now if we test this out, as you see, the stain slowly disappears away and it's gone. Another quick thing you want to do is after the end, let's just call it delay, and we'll set this to the same length as your timeline over here plus 0.1 seconds. So since mine is 2.5, I'm going to set this to 2.6. Then after completed, I'm going to plug this into the reset of the do once. So just in case you have multiple stains, it will clean all of them. So after this one's complete, we can go and try this one, and this one will work as well. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. If you want more cool tutorials like how to make a simple eating system like this, or how to create a really cool car, make sure to check out my tutorials, and please make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.